Recorded. I'm Elizabeth. I have been helping you in admissions with Heather. Heather, I don't know if you can give a wave. And we want to welcome you to orientation session tonight. The days are ticking down towards our summer session getting started, and I am sure that you have compiled a list of questions, or you are like, thank goodness we're doing this because soon I will have to compile a list of questions to think about it. And perhaps this will get me started on what I need to do. Um, so we are going to go over tonight a lot of the email information that Heather and I have sent you, and we will have time for questions and answers. It's also a great time to meet a lot of staff and a lot of the faces that you will be seeing this summer. If that is like helpful for you to, when you get to a new place, like know who you're looking for and who's going to be greeting you with a smile. It's a great opportunity for that. So the format tonight will be a lot of speaking at you, but from many different voices. You are welcome if you are one of our adult learners to have your camera on or off. That's totally up to you. I do ask that you mute your mics. You can type in the chat at any time, any questions you have, and Joel, one of our handy staff, will be helping stop us from talking, and then we'll also take breaks and ask questions. So we will have time to answer any of the questions you have. We have a slide show to go through, and we will do introductions from our staff. So it's a lot of listening for you all, but we are delighted you are here, and we are counting down the days till we get to meet you in Lexington in just a few weeks. So as you heard, I'm Elizabeth. I'm admissions director, although handing over the reins to Heather, who you've been hearing from. I've been with METTC since 2016. Trained at METTC when we were in New York way back in 2012. And I just love them so much. It is just lighting up my night to see everyone's face that they're here. I'm going to hand it off to Heather, and I'm going to ask our staff if we could go around and introduce all the staff. Staff, if you could just pick the next person who hasn't gone, that would be awesome, and tell them that they're going next.
Hi, I'm Heather Ewing. I have been with METC for a couple of years, and I was a Montessori lower elementary teacher for about 20 years, and I did a little time in Upper L as well. Recently, I finished the Instructor Academy training, and I've really been enjoying this year learning everything there is to know about admissions with Elizabeth. And yeah, just really glad here and looking forward to this summer. And, and I'll hand it off. Can you hear me?
No, who'd you hand it off to?
Uh, Joel.
Joel.
Okay, thanks, Heather. I'm Joel. Pardon my voice; it's a little bit hoarse at the end of the year, as teachers get hoarse with the end of the school year. But I know many of the faces here already. Great to see you again from our work online with our online overview course. I will be teaching this summer in both the 6 to 9 and the 9 to 12 programs, so you get to see me in person as well. I still teach in a classroom. Now I'm teaching the 6 to 9 level in the classroom. For many years, I taught at the 9 to 12 level. I worked with many of the faculty here, both as working together with them, training some of them, and being trained by some of them as well. So it's great to see new faces and look to add in new people. I want to tell you where I'm from. I am from I have my puzzle pieces right here. I'm where New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania touch. So if I can get my puzzles out here, Pennsylvania and then New York and New Jersey all touch at a corner where the Delaware River is, and that's where, there we go. And I live right in that little corner up there called Milford, Pennsylvania. I am teaching in a little school on the New York side of the Delaware River called Glens Bay, in the town of Glens Bay, called the Homestead School. So I'm going to turn it over now to my colleague Robin.
Thanks, Joel. I was thinking if you could hold up those puzzle pieces and put Ohio next to Pennsylvania,
No, I
then I
don't
could
have
point
all of
out.
them. Over
I'm
here
Robin.
somewhere.
Over there somewhere. I'm Robin Bryman. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I am one of the faculty co-director of METC, part of our organization since we started it in 2013, and before that, in CMTE in New York. Uh, I live in Cincinnati. I was the head of school at the new school in Cincinnati, and also the 9 to 12 teacher, and before that, the 6 to 9 teacher. So, um, but currently, what I do a lot of is talk to adult learners and field visits and other administrative things for METC. I'll be in Lexington for the last 2 weeks of the summer. And so, we can all sort of celebrate how smart we've gotten at that point and how much we've learned and how we can anticipate going home after a challenging and demanding and fantastically inspirational time. Um, as the name METC suggests, it's a very collaborative experience. As faculty, we're collaborators and we collaborate with the adult learners. And so I look forward to collaborating with you. And I'll see you. And I will turn this over to Nancy.
Hi, I'm Nancy Schlessel. I'm actually living in my puzzle piece, this nice little rectangle here. I'm from Colorado, and I have taught in lower L and upper L, and I've also been an administrator in schools, and currently I am the program coordinator at METC. I took my training way back when the earth was still cooling at CMTE with a lot of these folks here was my trainers. And I've been at METC, 11 plus years, I think now. And you'll be seeing me during weeks 1 through 4. I'll be welcoming you to campus, and I will be your 411 on campus whenever you need to know where to be, where to find food, all that good stuff. I'm there to help. And I'll be teaching all in every level. And I'm going to call on Holly.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Holly. I live in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I've been a Montessori teacher in both 3 to 6 and 6 to 9 for over 40 years. Now I work with METC, and I also play in other parts of my life too. I now have time for art classes and traveling, so I try and do both, a little Metsy, a little fun. Um, with Metsy, you'll see me the first 3 weeks of the summer. And then, of course, at seminars. Martha and I will be doing the in-person overview. So those of you who have done the online overview with Martha already, you'll see her in person, get to say hello. And then I'll be also working with the 6 to 9, 9 to 12 folks in this second and third week. So you'll see me then. I'm also somebody who will do field visits at your schools. I'll check assignments. I'm the advisory group coordinator. So you'll have a lot of contact with me, both in person and online. So welcome, and I look forward to seeing you in person soon. Let's see. Biff.
Hi there. I'm Biff Mayer, and I live at Lexington Montessori School, where you will be this summer. That's actually not true, but I think a lot of children think that's true. But I live in Arlington, which is the town nearby, and I am also a charter member of METC and was a CMTE guide before that. Um, I have two kids who went through Montessori education and from from the beginning to the end, and they're thriving and very successful. So I can promise you it works, at least for some children. And much of the bio that Robin described, I would also describe because I was in Cincinnati before I moved here a long time ago, 40 years ago. And but when I was in Cincinnati, I also worked at the new school. I was the head of school there for a time. I was a 9 to 12 teacher there. I taught 6 to 9 there for a while, and I even interned as an early childhood teacher. Um, so I've been working with kids of all ages. Now I'm an administrator at Lexington Montessori School, and and then I also um, do advising and intern visits. And I can't wait. I'll be there a lot of the summer, so I'll see a lot of you. I mean, I'll see you a lot this summer. And I will turn it over to, let's see, Kathy, you haven't gone, have you? Kathy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Rohr, and I live in between Joel and Robin in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I, like Elizabeth and Nancy, I trained with METTC when they were CMTE, New York, and have gone through the instructor academy like Heather. And I am the field visit coordinator. So when you are in your internship year, I will be the one that's matching you up with all the rest of these faculty members and other METC alums to come and help you out in your classrooms. So I really enjoy that piece of it. And I will be joining you this summer, and I can't wait to meet you all from weeks 3 to 6. And Michael.
Oh,
Michael, so can you hear me?
no.
A little louder, Michael.
Okay. How about now? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Silverstone. I'm in Western Massachusetts. I have been working with 7 and 8-year-olds for 27 years, and I've been working for Montessori 6, 7, and 8s for the last 14. And I trained with METC, loved the training, loved the collegiality of staff and also my cohort. And I love to teach and present in the summer. I love to working with people seeking certification because I just know what the journey is, and I'm really enthusiastic about supporting it. I will be there in the second week, and some of the things that I'm going to be presenting are writing workshops and some math, two of my passions in Montessori, and just that I look forward to working together. I'm excited about this. And let's go. Elizabeth, did you actually introduce yourself at the beginning? Like,
With a fun fact, I would like the mic back, so I'll grab that from you, Michael. I'm currently in Maine, and I went to a Montessori school as a child, and I've worked in Montessori all around the US. I closed out my teaching career in Montessori about 3 years ago, and have been working with children and families as a therapist. And I currently work with incarcerated youth, and I'm brainstorming maybe how to do a presentation on Montessori principles in carceral settings, but we'll see. We'll see. I love the ways that Montessori lives within schools, but is also a way of life. And it's a way of thinking about children and humans and human development and human growth. And so, this can be part of your journey, and working in the classroom means so much, but who knows where you'll end up after this. But first, let's get started. Before you have to know where you go, let's begin. I'm going to take you to our slideshow and get us presenting. I can't see. Okay. Can I get a thumbs up you can see? Okay. Staff who weren't here, I am going to hold the screen the whole time so we don't switch back and forth, and I will just yell into the screen when it is your turn to speak. And if I am incorrect, you can tell me. But please let me know next, and I'll keep the slides going. So thank you. adult learners, all of you who are here, wonderful attendance. You are doing the very first step of coming to our summer teacher training program, which is being here to understand who is METC, what have you signed up to do, and then what do you need to do to prepare yourself to be an adult learner this summer, to step into the role of um, someone who is learning the materials, who is practicing. What do you need to bring? How do you need to prepare yourself? What is the mindset to put on? How will you meet your needs while you're there? We are going to go over all of that for our 2026 programs tonight. First, a little bit about who we are. Who we are is the people who teach at our program. We teach who we are. We are a group of elementary teachers, a collaborative organization. METC is the Montessori Elementary Teacher Training Collaborative. We started teaching together in the Boston area at Lexington Montessori School back in 2013. But a lot of the team, Biff and Robin, Joel, have been together far longer than that, and our roots date back to working together at CMTE New York, where we were part of a larger training center, but our teachers and staff were running the elementary program there. And that's kind of what set us apart. That started our journey towards the Lexington area, which is we are a unique program dedicated to really focusing on elementary students. We are enlightened generalists, but we do have a specific target audience, and all of our teachers are experts at working at that 6 to 9 to 9 to 12 level. So we have teachers coming with years and years of experience who really just love the curiosity and the vibrancy and this unique moment in childhood that the elementary child is. Capable, developed sense of self after their primary years and they haven't quite hit middle school. It's this wonderful moment in their development. So we really seek to light that fire of imagination in them and take advantage of all the learning that they can do. We really believe in giving you the Montessori curriculum for this level, but we are also a responsive and inclusive program that prides ourselves on really asking you as adult learners, what do you need to go teach in your classrooms today? Right? We know what we want to give you. We spend all year talking about what we want to present, what we think you need to know, but we really do care about what you tell us and what you bring to the program yourselves. You know your students, you come from all over the US, you come from all over the world at times. We want to know what does a school where you are in this moment need for your students? And then we look to see, how can we do that too? As a collaborative, one of the things that is really special about our program is our incredible staff. So, over the course of the summer, you will see many, many, many of these faces. What brings us together is our love for elementary children and Montessori. Our teachers present all over globally in Montessori conferences. You will see their writing in AMS conference books and literature journals. We have many published authors, AMS Living Legacies, MACD Wise Elders. It's quite a well-reputed, well-respected, and remarkable group of teachers. People have experience working in public school, private school, charter schools, starting schools, being a teacher and administrator. So no matter where you come from or what kind of person you want to connect with or what questions you want to ask, there's a really good chance that someone on staff is going to be a great mentor for you. And that's a really cool thing. There's also a chance you're going to meet someone who you're like, wow, we have a really different style. I didn't see any of it that way. And you have the opportunity to grow and say, that's not how I do it, but I wonder why, or I wonder how I could learn from that. So we love that we get to give you so many voices who really care about this work and who are talented teachers in and of their own selves. Um, You've joined METC, you've signed up for our teacher training certification program, and we are really proud to tell you that when you complete the program, we are AMS and MACD accredited, so we will get you a teacher certificate at the level that you've applied for. That is a AMS teacher training certificate. We believe in a high fidelity program, so we are going to ask you if we are going to give you a Montessori certificate to see you be a Montessori teacher, right? That's using the materials, working in a multi-age classroom, giving children uninterrupted blocks of time to work, teaching interdisciplinary, interconnected lessons where children get to choose their follow-up work. It's not just being able to give a nice presentation on the rug, but really cultivating that classroom community where children are independent global citizens and a community of learners themselves. And we hope that you get to learn to do that by having practice doing that yourselves this summer. That we cultivate that same sense of community, how to learn together and work together and give feedback by learning together. We do quite passionately believe that Montessori education is a powerful force in this world, that this world continues to need. We believe that our children, through this pedagogy, become competent, autonomous, responsible, adaptive world citizens who are more than, compliant kiddos who can complete the tasks assigned to them in the nature that they are assigned, but who become students who ask questions and want to learn and are excited to share in the world that we create and offer them. Learning is a fundamental human need. We all want to learn, and we want to learn in a space that nurtures us and in an environment where we're cared for, where we believe in the people around us. They want to know us. They want us to be included. And they give us a chance to get our hands on things and learn. Those are our classrooms. We tried to give you a chance to do that this summer because we believe that having a prepared teacher is an essential part of a high quality, high fidelity Montessori classroom. If you are asked to do this incredible work, this meaningful, hard, full heart work, come to that work prepared yourself. Come to that work having had these experiences, having made mistakes with teachers who also care about you, having had practice, working through problems, repairing after fumbling through a lesson, figuring out, oh, I tried this and it didn't go right, and we're gonna do it again. You are an important part of the classroom too, and your children need you to come to this class prepared. So we really strive to do that in the 6 weeks we get to be together this summer. I'm going to show you a brief video that hopefully will get you excited because we are a unique program. You are coming to this METTC journey in a world where there are lots of opportunities to sit at a computer and watch videos online, but you all are going to be probably packing bags, at least day bags, if not overnight bags, and making this commitment to come and learn together. And that is pretty special. And hopefully this will get you excited. It's brief.
I feel humbled to be a part of this quality program. When I look around and I see the number of people and where they come from and who they are, along with the staff, it is a well-rounded program that is helping to complete me as an educator. I actually made a list of places I was considering, and I showed them to one of my coworkers who's been teaching for 14 years. And she pointed right at METTC and she said, if you can do this one, do this one.
Everyone here they're looking for you to succeed. They want you to succeed. So it's like they got your back the whole way. It's very familial kind of feeling, you really feel like it's a home away from home.
Everyone has been extremely helpful and supportive on every level.
The community that is developed here by, having to be away from home, all of us having to be away from home, has been really extraordinary. And I feel like I've developed friendships with folks all over the country and the world for that matter. We have a real international community.
Being away from home actually has been hard, but it's also been good because I've got no other responsibilities. This is it. And so I've had time to just really focus in on it.
The same way that as a child who goes away to sleepaway camp, you go and you learn and you're forced to form instant friendships because you're all in the same category. You don't know where to go or what to do. You've got to find each other as a resource. And that's really happened here. There was a full gamut of activities and people you could enjoy spending time with, and you could pick and choose what you were interested with. Every weekend, there's always trips organized. There's a large desk calendar on a bulletin board. People write up, hey, we're going to trivia this night, or we're going to take this tour.
things like that. And it's not just in your cohort for the summer, but it's all of the groups coming together and really just including everyone. The focus on community building that METTC really takes a strong initiative for is what makes it such a nice way to be away from home while learning. When I first came here, I was a little bit nervous that I would get very homesick and miss my friends and family. But from the first moment I got here, just everyone has been so kind and supportive. I miss my family and I'm looking forward to seeing them, but the time passes very quickly because you are so engaged in these conversations and meeting new people. And then there's the other just added benefit of with this many people from different places, there's so many different experiences.
Just knowing that from day one, people are here and they know they're in the same boat and they're just here to be on that boat with you. It's a journey that everyone experiences. People are at different stages of their journey. It's almost like its own multi-age classroom. You have people that are on a third summer or a second summer. I'm on my first summer. And then the brand new people who are with you and are kind of taking the same steps that you are. So you get that mix of everybody, this mix of experiences. I was strongly considering an online program, and I am so glad that I did not do that. The community and the in-person experience here is invaluable. I think just with the personalities of a lot of people that are here, it's just welcoming. And now going back, I can talk to the kids in my class about how I met people that were from across the world and across the country. And even though we grew up and live in different places, there's still so much that unites us.
So we hope you're excited because you are coming. And I'm going to tell you when you are coming next. So this is one of the things that we talked about in the videos. Everyone has their own schedule, right? Just like our classrooms where we all have our own work plan, our own plan for the day. Within this meeting, there are many different groups, and you need to know your schedule. It is in your emails, and hopefully by looking at this, you know, because there are some different options here. So one option, this first circle in the summer, is the overview course. Some of you took the overview course online. Hurrah, congratulations. Please keep that certificate in your folder. Good job. And so you have already done that. Some of you are coming to take that overview in person. And if that is the case for you, you will be starting on June 22nd at Lexington Montessori, and you will be in the overview cohort for that first week. Some of you are coming on June 22nd, but you belong to this 9 to 12 standalone circle. So some of you are taking the 9 to 12 standalone class. You are getting upper elementary certified, and your class also starts on June 22nd. So there's two different groups of people arriving on June 22nd. It's a Monday, 8 a.m. Arrive before then. We'll talk about that. And you will either be going to the overview or you will be going to 9 to 12 standalone. If you are a 9 to 12 standalone person, you stay in your circle all summer. You are in the intensive program. You are in that cohort. You are coming for 6 weeks plus 2 Saturdays, and that is who you are and where you are, and you get to stand firm in your identity all summer and into the fall. If you've come for the overview, some folks will come just for the overview week, and then they will leave and go on to other journeys in the summer. Some of you will come to the overview or have taken the overview in previous summers. And then you will be staying, and that following week, which is Monday, June 29th, you will be transitioning into the teacher training program at the elementary 1 or elementary 1-2 level. So that's both cohorts of our elementary 1 are 6 to 9 adult learners and our 6 to 12 adult learners. You are the same cohort for this first summer. So starting on June 29th, you start that training. And then there are these bubbles over here, which belong to the upper elementary cohort. On week 3 of the summer, which is July 13th, I guess it's the end of week 3. It's actually week 4. It's the start of week 4. On July 13th, folks who already have a certification at the elementary 1 level and are just completing their elementary 2 cohort work come and join the 9 to 12 cohort. So that's why there's this big circle around you. So that group gets bigger. And then we have our 2025 adult learners who come into that group. So really, this is a heads up so you know what it is. What you need to know is your start date. Are you arriving on June 22nd or June 29th, effectively? We will remind you it is in your letter, and then you know who you are if you are staying for Saturdays or if you are just a Monday through Friday person. We do have a note that the July 4th holiday is observed on Friday, July 3rd. There are no classes. You should have your schedule, so that will be noted in there. And a reminder that if you are in the 9 to 12 program, both the 9 to 12 standalone and the 9 to 12 for 6 to 12, that there are 2 mandatory Saturdays. And those are July 18th and July 25th. And then you should have from an email your summer schedule. It will look something like this. This is just a sample schedule. It does not belong to anyone because all of you have your own schedule. But what you need to know is that classes start at 8 a.m. They really start at 8 a.m. as in they begin. The beginning is at 8 a.m. So you would probably behoove yourself to arrive before 8 a.m. so that you are there for the beginning. So classes start at 8 a.m. There is an hour-long lunch break from 12 to 1. We will talk about that. You are welcome to stay on campus and eat, go out and eat, wander around, sit in your car with the air conditioning on, whatever floats your boat, take a walk. And then there's an afternoon section of classes every day. Those are usually from 1 to 5 p.m. There are days where they go until 4 p.m. That is Tuesday because you have supervised practice in the afternoon. So Tuesday's a long day for everyone. That's a day where we go from 8 a.m., have the lunch break at 12, and then we stay till 6. And then there are some other supervised practice times that you will complete during the week. Everyone completes 2 additional hours of supervised practice, and you can choose your time. So there are times offered during the week where staff are there and you can sign up. That will be part of the onboarding process where you'll sign up each week for which times work for you. If you're a morning person, afternoon person, Wednesday person, whatever you need to do to make that supervised practice happen. So after this, go ahead and you can take a look at your schedule, see what it looks like. Please note they are subject to change. They will not change radically, like we are not going to change the days or times of the program, but there is a chance that there might be an announcement on Monday that a class has flopped with the afternoon class, but we would let you know that on the week of. Knowing what classes you have might help you prepare by bringing your albums, having read what you need to read for that class, just having an idea of what's going on for the week. We do try to offer you a pretty integrated schedule. So you will have often like a philosophy and then a curriculum session or a classroom management and a curriculum session, math and biology, something outside so that you have some diversity of experience throughout the day and so that your mind can make all of these wonderful connections. You can listen to your writing practice in the afternoon and then, have this cultural lesson and think, oh, how could I integrate this writing practice into my history work? Which can be really exciting to see those connections. You actually learn quite like the students in your class, where a lot of each week might be what your first years are getting or your second years are getting. So you can see those places where you can help them get excited about building those skills. All right, Robin.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I got excited when I listened to it and when I saw the video and saw friends that I hadn't seen for a while. It was lovely. So this slide is called METTC Adult Learner Expectations. You may have noticed we call the folks who enroll in our courses adult learners, not students, just in part to distinguish them from the children that we teach who we call students, but also I think the recognition that we're all adults and we're all learning together. So it's a nice distinction. There are two phases of this teacher education program, and one is the academic phase, which are essentially the classes that you take with us either during the summer, at seminars when we get together at the two seminars that you'll attend, and as well as the online courses that certainly the 9 to 12s all participate in on the Moodle. So that's the academic phase. But I think what's really important here for you to hear, because there's so much to hear, is that you really what you have to do during the summer academic phase in particular is be present to be really open to the things that you will be hearing. You will not have homework. You will not have papers really to write or any of the kind of stuff that you might think goes with being in an academic course. You'll be attending classes, and particularly in the classes where there are materials presented to you, there are albums that you'll have as resources that you make your own by adding notes, illustrations. They're very well illustrated in many cases. Nonetheless, when you add something that is important to you, that you want to remember, it makes it that much more your own work and more meaningful to you. So we do ask you to illustrate your already beautifully illustrated albums, because we know that's how they'll be more useful to you. There is some reading, there is some writing, but primarily it's being present, paying attention to your albums, and to get your hands on the materials whenever possible. And that's sometimes possible during classes and always possible during supervised practice times. The practicum phase is another element and extraordinarily important element of this teacher education process, and that's when you are actually in classrooms at your own school. And it's where the work really becomes alive for you, because the things that you saw or practiced or thought about really what happens when we do them with children is where we make meaning of this work as teachers. Again, lots to think about, but here's an important thing. Here's a question for you to have, and it would be helpful to all of us if you know the answer to this question at some point this summer, and that's, who am I teaching? Do I have 6 to 9-year-olds in my class? Am I working with 6 to 12-year-olds? Am I working with 9 to 12-year-olds? And is there a 3-year multi-age grouping in my classroom? Because that will be important. That second paragraph on the practicum phase mentions that if you're in a school that doesn't have a 3-year multi-age grouping, then that's something we have to address, which we're happy to help you do. But we'll want to pay attention to that. Okay, next slide. This is just another way. We like to be able to see things in a variety of ways and learn a variety of ways of showing concepts to the children we teach. So this is a big picture in another form of those two phases of training: the academic phase, the summer and seminar classes, and the online classes, where you'll see presentations and you'll be referring to your albums. And during the academic phase, actually primarily you'll be working on your albums and practicing presentations. There are assignments which you will do typically when you're in your practicum phase. Exams happen at the end of the at the end of the academic phase, and they're open book exams. So you're referencing the resources you have. And a really important part of being a Montessori teacher is being an observer. So you'll be doing lots of observations of children in your own school, but you'll also we will ask you to observe other Montessori classrooms, and it gives you an amazing perspective on what you're doing, great ideas, and sometimes it makes you feel really good about how well you're doing when you see other classrooms and what they're doing. The practicum phase is your internship. So practicum and internship are essentially equivalent terms. And during that phase, you will be teaching in a classroom, and you'll receive field visits from a METTC field visitor. And during that phase, you may be looking at videos that either we provide or offer as resources. You'll be making materials for the children in your own classroom, and you'll participate in advisory groups. This is several paragraphs that basically say attendance is mandatory. And if for any reason you are not able to attend a class, if we know that in advance, we can support you with coming up with a makeup plan. If we don't know it in advance, but we find out about it at the moment, we may be able to record the class on Zoom or have you attend at a distance. But the bottom line is that you can't miss classes, so we want to be able to support you to get the information you need. And I think one of the values of the online of being an in-person program is that being together in class. So I have a musical accompaniment behind me. It's my husband. He's in the other room. Is it okay? Can you still hear me? Okay? Okay. All right.
And it's not unusual if you get to know Robin for her to have musical accompaniment. It's one of the joys about her.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
So I think I have one more slide, or maybe this is it.
oh yeah, no, you do.
Oh, here we go. So, yeah, isn't it? I love it. It's a great example of what Montessori teachers do, which is we may present a lesson, we may present the lesson in a different way, we may show a different layout. Here again is another way of looking at the flow of training. During the summer, your first summer, we've used the word intensive. Days are long and full of lots of experiences. So eat well, rest well, come well rested, and get all you can. Seminars are 2 weekends, one in November, one in May. More details, I think, is probably elsewhere in this slideshow. But those classes are essentially the summer over a weekend. More of that same kind of work together. I think what's particularly lovely about seminars is that you get to see your cohort again. And we tend to develop pretty close relationships with people in the summer. So it's really nice to see people and share stories about what's been going on in their practicum, in their classrooms. So summer classes lead to seminar and practicum year, and also while you're in your practicum year, you'll be meeting with your advisory group, and Holly will talk more about advisories, and you'll receive field visits, at least 3, in some cases more, from a METTC field visitor, and that's an opportunity for you to get some constructive feedback, very specific recommendations, as well as just a lot of go, you're doing great feedback, and really to track your growth through this process of the work. So thank you, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Robin. Holly.
Okay. So one of the really unique aspects of our METC program is our advisory group program. It's really important to us and also to your successful completion of the training that you have support that goes beyond just the time when you're in person and on campus. In other words, when you go off to teach in your own classrooms during the practicum phase, we want you to have support during that really important time. So the purpose of the advisory group is to provide this ongoing and mutual support. In other words, support not just from faculty members, but from each other, because as has already been said, you bring a lot to this. People come from many different backgrounds and situations and experiences. And so that we really like those advisory groups to be places where we can share what we know, what we've learned, and also our questions that we bring. So during the second week of the summer training, week 2, you'll be placed into a small group consisting of a couple faculty members and other adult learners that are in similar settings. For example, if you're in a 6 to 9 or 9 to 12 classroom, you would be with other folks in similar environments so that you have that in common in terms of your conversations that happen during advisory group meetings. And you'll receive an email from me during that week 2 with a list of your cohort group, your advisor group, and the faculty members that will be with you. And that those groups are guided by faculty members. They connect monthly, either in person during the summer and seminars or through Zoom meetings or by email. So we try and have at least a once a month connection throughout your training with you. At our meetings, we center the discussion around timely topics such as classroom management. That's always a big one. Curriculum, observation, neurodiversity, or other topics that might be relevant to your teaching practice. During discussions, often one person brings up a question or a situation, and it turns out the rest of us are also grappling with the same thing. So it's, it's really important to be bringing those questions to the group because you'll get great suggestions and help that way. Advisors are there also to field questions around any topics that come up, including maybe you have questions about assignments that you need to complete, or timing about when something needs to be done, or about your practicum situation, which may get referred to your practicum coordinator. So it's really a vehicle for communication and for support. Your first advisory group meeting will be while you're on campus this summer, and at which time you'll get to know each other and your advisors. And at this meeting, you'll also have a chance to talk about the first assignments coming up and to set up a meeting schedule for the year, because we do have about 6 Zoom meetings and then a few email communications in terms of those monthly connections. Essentially, the group's there for you during the period of your training, and advisors are there for you to draw on as needed. We are your cheerleaders. We want you to succeed. We're there to listen. We're there to answer questions. And it's really, we also don't want to be nags and to bother you unnecessarily. So, at times we may wait for you to reach out to us as advisors, but we will also be reaching out to you. So if you have any questions about advisory groups, you'll see me this summer, but you also can just reach out to me with my email. And I look forward to meeting you all. So back to you, Elizabeth.
Over to Heather.
And I get to talk about what to bring. Can everybody hear me? Great. So, you want to think about what to bring so that you're comfortable on your journey. So we'll start with the next slide, Elizabeth. Part of the journey will be readings and reference materials. So we strongly encourage you to choose one of the following texts to read before you begin your training this summer. It helps, just like that video helped to get you excited. The reading is going to help, like, it's almost like preheating the oven, right? Like getting things ready before you're even showing up. I know that the first Montessori book I read was Montessori Today by Paula Lillard, and I got so excited during that book. And when I was done, I said, this is what I want to do. We also, through the training, look at a lot of primary sources from Maria Montessori. One here that we've listed, To Educate the Human Potential, would be a great one to start reading. And then we also have listed Children of the Universe by Michael and Danielle Duffy, who were integral to METTC's origins and development. And that's a beautiful book to read, and some really gorgeous illustrations in it as well. So these resources will be used regularly throughout your training in the different classes. You might want to have your own copy. I mean, I have copies of lots of books, and you might be amazed when you want to pull from them. So it's certainly, if you choose to spend the money on it, you will use it over the course of your life as a Montessorian. If you don't have access to these resources, excerpts will be shared with you during the training as a read-only resource. So those are some thoughts about reading and priming your mind before you come. And on the next slide, we're going to think about meeting our own fundamental needs when we're there. Extension cords will be in every class. There are coffee pots in every class. Caffeine can be very important some days. Your first bag of coffee will be provided by METTC. You will have access to refrigerators and microwaves. So bring your favorite creamer for your tea or coffee, bring your yogurts, bring your refrigerated foods, bring the things that will nourish you and fuel you while you are on campus. And I know that cohorts will get together and, have a little snack table. So food is an important thing throughout the whole training for sure. And then on the next slide, meeting your own fundamental needs in terms of your comfort during lectures. And you might have noticed in the video that Elizabeth shared that you're on the floor, you're at tables, you're with yourself, you're with groups. There are lots of different ways that you're going to be learning this summer. So think about what's going to make you feel comfortable in your learning environment. Some students have found having a certain cushion or pillow to have on a chair or to have on a floor is really helpful. Some students bring different chairs, like the Crazy Creek chairs. I've seen like the yoga ball chairs being brought. So think about how you're going to feel supported during the lecture times. In the video, I'm sure you noticed people are wearing comfortable clothes, comfortable shoes, comfortable socks. Always an extra layer can be helpful. The buildings are air conditioned. So I know when I'm down there teaching in the summer, I just layer. I always have a short sleeve on, and then I at least bring another layer in case it gets a little chilly during your time in the buildings. And sometimes students will bring some gentle lighting if they find that supportive. So think about your fundamental needs in terms of your comfort, so that your body is comfortable and your brain is comfortable as you're learning and taking in all of this information over the course of the summer. Do I have another slide? Nope.
Nope. On to Joel or Nancy. I don't know. Who's
Hi, Nancy. And Joel. Are
Nancy
you
and
on
Joel?
too, Nancy? Um, I can start here, Nancy. We're very proud of how of the quality of the materials that we give to you. So earlier, someone mentioned albums. And when we refer to a Montessori album or a METC album, we're basically referring to your lesson plans, and we give you what could become huge, big notebooks filled with all of those lesson plans. You get a math album, a language album, a biology album, with sections for each of the different sessions that are taught. And you can see just a little excerpt there on the one side of a page out of an actual lesson plan or out of an actual album. And you can see where someone mentioned that they're already beautifully illustrated. Some of them have pictures and illustrations that show action in them. There's also examples of card materials next to them, or other classroom materials that you would be making for when you get into your own classroom, that you can use with students. So you can see where there's a layout there that you would cut into a matching set of cards for a biology. So this is something that's provided for all of our adult learners. And it does come digitally in the form of a PDF, the print version of a file, and that gives you the digital, basically the digital original that comes from METC. And during the course of the course you take, the classes you take, you're asked to engage with that text. So you're asked to take that digital file and add your own notes, add your own keywords, highlighting, noting what important keywords come through that presentation, noting what special steps of operating and moving the materials are important. Even adding your own illustrations or adding your own photographs, or the little notes that the presenter, the little comments that the presenter makes, will help bring that album alive to you. So you're going to be changing these files, and I guess we could go to the next slide. So here we have two options. Some people choose, you get them digitally from us. Some people choose to keep them always digitally, and do all of their illustration and keep everything as simply a digital album, one that they can always access from their laptop or from their iPads or their tablets, as their form of an album. Of course, that didn't exist in Montessori's day, nor in my day when I trained myself. I had to have a paper album. But now you have that convenience, so it's always accessible. You can store it on your own backup device. You can store it on your own electronic device. You can store it in your own cloud access. You may also choose to print that digital file out and turn it into a paper album, and do your do your notes, adding your illustrations, adding your pictures to your album, by hand, in the paper version. So either way, you're going to get the file originally as a digital file. That's your digital back or your digital original, and then you can edit it and keep it as digital, or you could print it out and work with it as a printed album. Some people like to do their editing and their notes still digitally, and then wait and print it out afterwards. Other people just take that original, print it out on paper, and add their illustrations to it. That's a choice that you have, and some people like to kind of wait until they're actually there to make their final decision. But you are responsible for printing it out yourself. If you're local or you're nearby and you can wait for a couple of the sessions in the first week and then go back to your printer and print the papers out, that's helpful. If you're traveling, many people who travel like to keep it digitally so they don't have to carry all that heavy paper back with them. But you could bring a printer with you or find a local print store like a Staples or some other store to print them out at. Where there are a variety of digital platforms, digital apps, that you can use to make those changes. The PDF formatted file can be edited, where you can add to it, but we give them to you in that form so that they also retain the original pagination, the original copyrights, and the original footmarks that we have in every page. You can always add new pages, you can add notes and so forth above and below that. Nancy, we can go either I think the next slide or maybe this slide also has more information about some of those specific programs. And wondered if you wanted to add in your comments about those specific programs, Nancy.
Sure. But before we do that, Joel, can you talk a little bit about the Google group that you're going to be
Oh,
creating for them?
yes, that's right. Thank you so much. So the way that all of this gets shared with you is through a Google group. So shortly, probably within the next by next weekend, you will get an invitation, or before next weekend, you'll get an invitation into into a Google group that will be your cohort. And those of you that are also taking the in-person overview, you'll be in two cohorts because you'll be invited into an overview cohort separately, as in addition to your elementary 6 to 9 cohort. Those of you that are taking the 9 to 12 standalone, you'll be invited into a separate 9 to 12 standalone Google group, which is your cohort. That Google group will be a communication device that we have to share everything with you, and specifically to share these files that we've mentioned. Because that's how your permissions are given to you through Google. We store all of these digital files on our Google Drive in the cloud. So to share them with you, you're given view access to these kind of documents. View access because they're those originals. We don't want anyone editing that actual original because that's everyone's. But when you have view access, you're able to open it. You're able to download copies of them onto your own devices or download copies into your apps that can do the sharing. And the first information you'll be getting soon in that Google group will be after your welcome and invitation will be handbooks and links to the first sets of albums. Thanks, Nancy.
You're welcome. Thank you, Joel. And if that was a lot and you're full on that technical end, don't worry. You'll see me your first week of training, and we have special sessions that we go over um, your albums, your handbooks, where things live, folders that you can keep things in, how you can like digitally organize everything so you can find it. So don't worry, we got you covered on that. But what you can do, and I know we said we don't have homework in the summer, but to help, Elizabeth, can you go? Thank you. Is I have a resource that once you have your email from Joel with, I will send out, and it's a whole lot of different PDF editors and what works best and what their fees are, and it has links to some videos on YouTube on how best to use them. So what you're going to want to look into right now is to find a PDF editor that you may or may not want to do if you choose to do digital or if you choose to do paper. And believe me, you can switch back and forth during training depending on how your comfort level is. But if you start looking for a PDF editor, you want to find one that can add pictures, highlight, add a page to insert a page between pages in your PDF of your album, and also allows you to add notes to it. So those are the 4 main things you want your PDF editor to do for you. And the one on the screen right now is Noteful, and it works for iPads, and you can get it as an app on your computer, so it can go between different devices, which is very handy because sometimes you want to use your iPad and sometimes you want to use your laptop or so. And along with everybody else, I'm looking really forward to meeting everyone this summer. And if you have any technical questions, please reach out to myself or Joel. We can help you before you get on campus. Thank you.
Thanks, tech team. Biff.
All righty. I like to animate slides, so I'm going to be saying next or something like that so that you know when to change it. So this is an overview picture of the campus to which you are coming for the training. Um, the area around, if you look toward the bottom of your screen, you see a residential district that is, I mean, residential area that's right next to the school. And then if you look to the right of the campus, um, that goes up to a playing field and then into 19 acres of woods and wetlands. So there are places for you to get away and go for a walk there. But anyway, this is the campus. So um, we share this. If you click a couple times, we share the campus during the summer with click, Elizabeth.
Can you not see that? The
Oh,
horizon.
sorry. I'm looking at um yes. We share the campus with Horizons, which is a national organization that Lexington Montessori School works with. We have kids from neighboring communities that are generally not enrolled at the school, but who have been identified by their teachers as promising students who are at risk during the summer of losing their momentum. So they come to LMS during the summer, and we run a Montessori program. Actually, until this year, it was the only Horizons Montessori program in the country, and the only one that starts with 3-year-olds. The for From your perspective, the importance of that is that there are kids on campus that you get to observe. So you can go into the classrooms and you can see kids working with Montessori materials in classrooms. Then the other group that's on campus at the same time is a bunch of toddlers. Um, they're We bring them in just because they're so adorable all summer long, and you get to go out into the yard and watch toddlers play in the sandbox and etc. as you walk between buildings. Um, Click. And I so I the you can see the we are located at the intersection of Route 2 and Pleasant Street. Route 2 is the main drag that connects Interstate 95 with Boston and Cambridge. So if you and you'll so anyway, that's the location. Um, let's see. You should probably, let me see here. I have to try to remember what I've done here. Okay, so yeah, there are 3 buildings that house classrooms at LMS. The first one that's the 3 that are identified here. The children's house is the building where the overview will take place. That's where all of our toddler classrooms and 3 to 6-year-old classrooms are. The Jane Mack building, named after one of the founders of Lexington Montessori School, is where all of the elementary classrooms are. And that's where the 6 to 9 group will be all summer, both 6 to 9 groups. And then the Tucker Taft building, that's on the lower part of the screen, is where our middle school is. There's also a library, an art studio, and a music studio there. And we use the middle school during the summer, so 9 to 12 students will be in the middle school. Um, the next slide is just to sort of orient you on for arrival. If you can see where LM Lexington Montessori School is. It's between Interstate 95 as you're heading toward Cambridge, heading east from 95, or if you're heading south on 95. In either case, you would head east on Route 2 to get to LMS. Some people come south on 93 instead. And in that case, you'd be heading west on Route 2 to get to Lexington Montessori School. If you are arriving by airplane, then you'll arrive in Boston at Logan Airport. And if you're arriving by Amtrak, you will arrive not very far from that at South Station. In either case, um, you're finding, some strategy for getting from there to where you're going to stay. Um, if you are, we have a discounted rate at the Aloft and Element hotels, which are just west of where the school is. You can go to the next slide. I think it shows where,
It does. It's up there now.
yeah. So you can see where if you headed west from the school and then went north on 95, it's not very far to get to the Element or the Loft hotels. And then some of you may be staying in Airbnb housing or something like that. Um, in either case, it's all pretty convenient and fairly easy to get to these various places. Um, let's see. So the next slide shows another view of the campus, and you can see the three buildings that I described, the Children's House, where the overview is the Jane Mack Building and the Tucker Taft Building. And when you arrive, you'll come down Pleasant Street, and the entrance, I want you to notice that there are two ramps that come into the campus. If you're coming from um, if you're going to turn left into the campus, you pass the first possible way in. That's an exit. There are people who make the mistake and come in the exit. You're always at risk of a head-on collision if you come in the exit because people might be going out. So I encourage you to go to the second entrance where it says entrance, and then come in and turn left, and then continue back to the parking lot that's in the back. Um, the parking is somewhat limited at the school. You can park if you when you come in and go all the way to the back parking lot. Um, there's parking. You'll go around a loop and then head back, and those parking places are all available. You can also park in the front if you get one of the parking spaces that is available in the very front before you even turn to come to the back building. So, for example, for the overview, you might want to park there. And if those places are all full, the other possibility is to go um, to the next street when you're coming down Pleasant Street. And if you turn on Lawrence Lane, there is parking on the school side of Lawrence Lane. In order to maintain a reasonable relationship with our neighbors, there are some houses, number 4 Lawrence Lane, for example. If anybody ever parks in front of number 4, they will always call the police. Um, it's not your fault. It's actually legal, but they throw a fit whenever anybody parks in front of their house. Same thing is true of number 8. In both cases, the road narrows a little bit there, and so they are concerned that two cars can't pass when somebody parks in front of their house, and that's why they call. But there's plenty of parking along Lawrence Lane. Um, I also want to show you that well, I want to remind you that you can't park on the other side of Lawrence Lane. But also, if we back off a little bit on the next slide, you can see um, how Lawrence Lane is a loop. So if you come in, um, if you pass along Pleasant Street and then turn into Lawrence Lane. Um, I recommend that you go to the second entrance to Lawrence Lane. You can hit it one more time and go around the loop until you find parking. Because it's hard to if you turn at the earlier one, you have to be facing the other direction in order to park. So it's better to go to the second entrance to Lawrence Lane and go around the loop. There are a bunch of other possibilities for parking in the other streets that are around there. So um, there are, I don't anticipate we're going to have a big problem with parking this summer. So if you go to the next slide, I'm going to show you a couple of the other things that are local attractions. So um, you can see LMS, and then there's a if you go down Pleasant Street, there's a fantastic farm stand called Wilson Farms. Incredible produce there. A little bit pricey, but really a wonderful place. And if you go the other way, there's another produce stand called Wagon Wheel, which also has great stuff, especially fantastic sandwiches. And there's also right near Wagon Wheel, there's a Dunkin' Donuts, there's a Panera, there's a Chipotle, there's a Boston Market, there's a Starbucks, there's all sorts of stuff that's on the street that it's called Waltham Street there. And we can show you when you're on site how to get there, but it's pretty close. So there are a lot of places to get food that are nearby. Um, and if we look at the next map, this just gives you some ideas of some of the things that you might want to do on weekends when you want to take a break and go see some of the highlights of the Boston area. Minuteman Park is in northwest of where the campus is. Minuteman Park is a fabulous. It's where the Revolutionary War started, and it's very beautiful woodland and nice place to go for a walk. Nice place to get some history. Walden Pond is nearby, another fabulous walking site, and also a place where you can swim. Um, the Red Sox are in town during the summer, despite the fact that they're not playing very well. A lot of people like to go see the Red Sox anyway. The Freedom Trail is another historic walk through the American Revolution that is pretty interesting to do. You can go to see where Paul Revere lived. Um, the Seaport area has museums and restaurants, and it's just really nice to be right along the water there. And the Museum of Science is a world-class science museum. The Museum of Fine Arts is a world-class art museum. Um, and if you want to take a longer trip, if you go to Lowell, Lowell is where the Industrial Revolution began in the United States, and it's a really fascinating place to visit. The national park runs has reconditioned some of the looms and spinning that went on at Lowell, so you can see how the Industrial Revolution for textiles really began in the United States. Lowell's an interesting spot, and then you can also head northeast and go to Salem and explore witch history and seafaring history, because Salem was really the largest port on the East Coast for a long time. And now it's more famous for having witch trials. I think that's all I've got.
Thanks, Beth.
So,
All right, Heather, you're going to finish this off?
Yes, I know you're full, so I'll keep this brief. The onboarding website is really helpful information email that we sent you. So we went over a lot of information, and a lot of it is on that onboarding website. So if you have a question, check that as a first resource. And then to do before arriving on campus, and there's one already crossed out. Watch the new student orientation session. You've already done one. submitting your required documents for your application file. So, your 3 letters of recommendation, transcript, resume, personal statement, getting all of those documents in. And we've been in touch with some of you as reminders about that, or thanking you as you have sent them in. Read through that summer information email. There's a lot in there. Complete the information on the forms page of the onboarding site. So that would be your practicum sheet and what that does is by completing that form, we know how to support you going into your practicum phase of this training. There's also a demographic survey that helps us here at METTC. Prepare yourself with the course reading before, and also familiarizing yourself with your summer schedule as much as you can. Please let us know if you have upcoming non-negotiable absences so we can help you plan accordingly for those, because there are life events that happen, so we can make plans for that. Yeah, and of course, reach out as you have questions surface, reach out to us in admissions and we might connect you to somebody else to answer that, but we're a good starting place for the questions as they surface prior to information. I think do we have a picture of the campus for the final slide?
We do.
Yes, and I'm just going to add to this that the campus is gorgeous in the summer. It has this beautiful gardenscape surrounding it, and there is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe at least a part-time gardener on the LMS staff, and they maintain vegetable gardens, and you get to buy vegetables in the summer, and the flowers bloom. It's just a beautiful experience on that campus. So we have filled you full, and we will be seeing you soon. But I think Elizabeth is going to stop sharing and offer time for questions.
Yeah, we have finished with our part. Thank you for sticking with us. When you see us on campus, we will be at one of those doors and orange lanyards. We'll be flagging you down on June 22nd or June 29th. If you have questions, put them in the chat or take yourself off mute. But otherwise, thank you. You have already done a great job getting started, and we're really excited to meet you.
Hi, I have a question, but first I'd like to say thank you so much. That was great and got all the information, and it's very nice to see all the faces. It would be very nice to meet everybody in person. I just would like to know when, because I did my enrollment a little bit later, when do I need to pay the credentialing fee? Because I think I need to receive a invoice for that, but I didn't receive that yet.
Sorry, can you ask the question again?
Luciana's looking for her invoice.
For
the credentialing fee.
The credentialing fee.
Oh, for the credentialing fee?
Yeah.
I thought I sent that. Yeah, everything else has been paid. So you just need the credentialing fee.
Right, yeah.
I'll send you an invoice for that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, Shalaya. Shalaya.
My name is Shaila.
Shalaya.
So my question would be, just now Elizabeth was mentioning that we have to fill out a form about everything that you're going to support us about. So where is that form? Is that in the email?
Yeah, there's 2 places you can find it. It's in your email. It says practicum site form, or if you head to that onboarding website, under the tabs that says forms. If you look for it and can't find it, just email us and say, help me find the form, and we'll send you a direct link.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? Great.
All I will
Thanks so much.
hold our breath. I'll always worry that you might not come on June 22nd, but we really hope you do. We're so excited to see you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good
Bye,
night.
Thank you
everybody.
so
Thank you
much.
for
Have
all
a
the
good one.
information. Have a good one.